Hello, this is Valerie Aiello, and you are listening to Idea Diary. Thanks for coming back to my office and hanging out. Alright, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about connecting and just 3 things that I've done to kind of help with finding new people, new excitement, and just kind of handle that thing inside that maybe makes you feel bad for not having maybe a lot of people to talk to or a lot of invitations or a lot of things to do. Have that kind of fulfilling friendship feeling. And there have been a lot of times when I've had an instant group of fun friends, working in offices or having certain jobs, and you just kind of around a lot of cool people. There are a lot of certain situations where maybe it's kind of not easy necessarily to meet people, especially when you work from home or you're a freelancer and you don't have an office full of people and to constantly interact with or do things with. So before I get to that, I wanted to start the show with the song of the day. So the song of the day was originally going to be a Stevie Wonder song, and as I was listening to Stevie Wonder and doing some of my music research for the day, which I try to do 10 minutes, and sometimes I get wrapped into something. And this day, the Stevie Wonder day, I did get wrapped up into something because I was watching a little 4-minute documentary on Stevie Wonder, and they mentioned that he ended up marrying a receptionist that was the receptionist at Motown Records. And I just, for some reason, that intrigued me immediately, and I was like, okay, I gotta find out who this lady is. And her name was Syreeta. And she was a singer, and Stevie Wonder actually gave her the confidence to be a songwriter and kind of talked her into it. So they started writing songs together. They wrote Signed, Sealed, Delivered together. Stevie Wonder also had his mother help him write some songs, especially in that beginning time before he was 21. So he met Syreeta. She was a singer. He ended up helping her do a solo album, a couple solo albums, and it did end up getting divorced, but they always stayed friends, and she always credited him for helping her start her career. Listen to some of the solo albums, specifically her first solo album in 1972 and another solo album in 1980. They're both called Syreeta. I really like some of the songs in the 80s album, but those songs were not available on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and so I couldn't really make my coffee film that I try to make every day or make my song of the day reel using either one of those platforms. So I had to pick a song that was from the first album, which is called To Know You Is to Love You, which was a duet with Stevie Wonder. Yeah, I just recommend you go check out her song. And I don't know, she just seems like a really sweet person. Her voice is really sweet. She was almost as supreme, but they ended up choosing someone else, and she got to do her solo albums in Electric Lady Studios in New York and use a lot of the first electronic synthesizer machines that were ever made, and I just think she's an interesting person, so go check out Syreeta. Okay, so back to the show. So connecting when you're feeling lonely, you don't know how to find new friends. So one of the things that I have done is I used to have something called the Molecule Group, or I just called it the Molecule Group, and I would invite every single person that I knew, and this was after I quit my office job and realized I didn't have friends, or, realized, oh, you actually have to work hard to make friends when you're not just plopped into an office full of 30 people around your same age. Once a week, I would have a Molecule Group party, and like I said, I would invite everyone I knew on Facebook. That was the thing at the time. And usually only one person would show up, but it was always a different person. And sometimes there'd be 2 or 3 or 4, but usually, for the most part, it was once a week, and one person would show up, and I would end up having this crazy night of just weird fun things happening. I was younger at the time, so it wasn't weird to meet at a coffee shop, and I did this in LA and in Austin, and then end up at a bar, and then end up at a party, and have this just night of actually connecting with somebody that you wouldn't normally hang out with. And it was really valuable. It didn't end up being a business thing to where I was meeting people and like eventually getting clients or getting gigs or something like that. It really wasn't like that. It was just kind of like just people kind of taking a chance to go do something, and then you end up having a fun night. And it was just an interesting experiment. So that was kind of like a real world situation. I named a meetup group, and I met every week, and I got to hang out with a lot of random people. And some people I stayed friends with, and some people I never hung out with again necessarily, but there was always like that moment of fun, like, oh, I remember that person. I'm friends with them on Facebook, and we hung out that one time, and then life got busy and I never saw them again, or, whatever. It was just a fun connection thing. Another thing I'm doing is this show. So I'm trying to create a podcast. I'm still working on like exactly what this podcast means, but for me, it's a business lifestyle podcast where I'm kind of getting myself out of my own shell and talking on the internet, which is a very uncomfortable thing for me. And I'm choosing to do a show just totally on my own because I don't want anything holding me back. I want to be able to turn on a camera, press record, publish something without too many excuses of like, oh, well, I planned to have this interview, but that person didn't show up, or technical difficulties, or whatever a million reasons that can happen. I'm choosing to do this show just by myself. But within that, I'm finding other people that kind of do podcasts or want to do podcasts, and it's kind of creating a conversation. And then I do hope to have a second show that's an interview show, and which will be based on goals because that's kind of what I'm interested in. But that's going to be kind of my online version of my weekly hangout party. It's going to be like the virtual version of that. And then I'm hoping to do that using live streaming, and then editing the repost, the restream of that with some fancy editing if I can figure that out. And just having weekly conversations and practice professionally presenting them to the world. And the third thing that I'm going to start doing is kind of understanding Discord and maybe creating a Discord group or joining some Discord groups that are talking about what I'm into, like weird 80s new wave group Discords and Twitches that a friend of mine is making. And I'm just seeing him kind of have this night. It's all online, but it's just a bunch of people that are very much into like the same goth music, just kind of a focus of a very specific interest, and they're all coming together and they're talking, and I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's a great idea. It might be hard to start something to wrangle in a bunch of people, but I feel like you could do that. You could figure out how to do that in a micro way, and maybe Discord isn't the answer. Maybe it's have a weekly Zoom that maybe you invite different people that you know to talk about specific topics, and everyone drinks coffee or everyone has some wine or whatever it is. Just kind of like a virtual weekly hangout that you can invite specific people, or you can maybe invite everyone you possibly know and just see who shows up. So I don't know. I think I'm losing my train of thought. I think I put in 3 points in there. So it's have a real party every week where you meet somewhere. Maybe it could be at your house if you don't want to go out into the real world. Could possibly be like an outdoor patio. I don't know what's going to be open anymore, but you can do it in the real world and make it not be weird and be open to everybody. You could do that same version in a virtual way using Discord or Zoom. You could have the invite very specific, or you could have the invite being everyone in the world. Being open and trying out new things, I feel like is a cool thing. Or you could try making a show based on a topic. I'm choosing business, lifestyle, music business, random things. I'm still trying to figure it all out. But in general, I'm just trying to inspire constant creativity and being in control of your time and making money. We'll see how the whole show pans out. But I'm here for it. I'm trying. I'm hoping at some point it becomes a professional thing on some level. And I'm hoping to make internet friends that are into similar things using audio and visual stuff. And that's what I'm doing. And I guess that's the show for today. I just want to say thanks for coming back and checking it out. And if it's your first time, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.